ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनिति नामिनी नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिनी नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देगं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुत पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्णा। By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita. Now we are in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita in our Saturday classes. As you all know, so from Monday to Friday in US time, so that is Tuesday to Saturday India time, we are studying in the 8th chapter right now. We are progressing very nicely. But on Saturday evening, that is Sunday morning in India time, we are in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So in the second chapter, we have finished 52 verses out of 72 verses. So second chapter is the second largest chapter in Bhagavad Gita. The 18th chapter has got the maximum number of slokas, so that is 78 verses. So Krishna is actually, when Arjuna asked Krishna to give him to tell him what is the right thing to do. So because Arjuna was confused and he was asking Krishna, you please tell me, Krishna, now what is the right thing for me? What is good for me, basically? Because Arjuna was not able to decide because he was confused. And the first thing Krishna told, we already studied at length in the second chapter. The first thing Krishna told, that first of all, you should realize that you are not the body, you are the soul. So that knowledge is known as Sankhya Yoga. So Sankhya Yoga means it is also Jnana Yoga. So that's why in the third chapter, when Arjuna asks the question to Krishna again Arjuna asks, you tell me again what is good for me, because you are confusing me. You are asking me to follow Buddhi Yoga, but at the same time, you are asking me to fight in this battle. So if you think intelligence is better than fruity work, so Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhi Janardana. So if you think intelligence is better than fruity work, so then why are you asking me to fight in this ghastly warfare? So Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhi Janardana Tat Kim Karmani Gore Mam Nyojayasi Kesava. So intelligent person will not fight in the battle. So intelligent person will not kill his kinsman, his own kinsman. He will not kill his teacher, will not kill his grandfather, so will not kill his cousins, the intelligent person. So if you are asking me to use intelligence, and that's what Krishna, in the second chapter we studied from the sloka number 40 to 52, right now whatever we have finished, Krishna is explaining the Buddhi Yoga to Arjuna, and Krishna told Arjuna that until now I have explained to you Sankhya Yoga, so now you hear from me about the Buddhi Yoga. So Yesate Abhigita Sankhye Buddhi Yoge tu Imam Srunu. So buddhya yukta yaya partha karma bandham prakasasi. So if you act with intelligence, then you will be freed from all bondage to work. Karma bandham prakasasi. So that's why Arjuna is asking Krishna, if you think that I should use intelligence, then why do you want me to fight in this battle? So that's why Tatkim Karmani Gure Mam Niyojayasi Kesava. So because of your equivocal instructions, now I am completely confused. Again, so in the beginning also in the second chapter, Arjuna told Krishna that he is confused. So Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Matha Buddhi Janardana. So here he is asking. And the second chapter he asked that Karpanya Doso Upagata Swabhavaga. Prichamitvam Dharma Sammuda Chetaga. So Dharma Sammuda Chetana means I am already confused. Dharma Sammuda Chetana. That's why I am asking you to tell me what is good for me. What is the right thing for me to do? What should I do? So now Krishna in the entire second chapter, when he teaches this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight, of course. We know from the beginning itself, Krishna told Arjuna that give up your petty weakness of heart and get up and fight. That is Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyaktvo Uttishta Parantapa. So that's why Krishna is saying to Arjuna. So Arjuna knows that Krishna wants him to fight. But Krishna is also asking him to use intelligence, act with intelligence. So if he has to use intelligence, then he should not be fighting in the battle. Killing his own relatives is not using intelligence. An intelligent person will not go and kill everyone in the battle who are all relatives, who all came here. In fact, Arjuna told Krishna in the first chapter, so for whose enjoyment I wanted this kingdom. So they themselves have come here to fight with me, and they themselves have come here fight with me, preparing to give up their lives. So then, what is the point in myself fighting? Why should I fight? Because I came here to get this kingdom, to gain this kingdom, so that my teacher can enjoy, my grandfather can enjoy. Because if I am the king, if I am ruling, my teacher should be very happy. So my grandfather should be very happy. But if I'm going to kill them and get this kingdom, then what is the point in fighting? So that's what Arjuna is asking Krishna. So that's why I'm confused now. You tell me what is the right thing to do. So Krishna is teaching that you are not the body, you are the soul, and the soul can never be killed, and the soul is always there, and the soul is bound inside this body. And now you act with intelligence, and you use intelligence so that you can be freed from the bondage, freed from the karma bandha, janma bandha. All such things you can be freed by using your intelligence. So that's why buddhya yukta yaya partha karma bandham prakasasi. So if you act with intelligence, you will be freed from the karma bandha. So here Arjuna is asking Krishna that if you want me to act with intelligence, then why are you asking me to fight? So that's why he is saying again, Vyamisreneva Vakyena, by your equivocal instructions. Buddhi mohayasivame. I am again confused, Krishna. So the entire second chapter, after Krishna gave him so much knowledge, which we are going to study 20 more slokas in the second chapter. We finished 52 slokas. So 72 slokas totally. It has another 21 slokas are there. In that one sloka, Arjuna is asking a question. So the remaining 20 more slokas, Krishna is going to give knowledge. So another 19, 20 slokas. So totally 18 slokas, Krishna gives the answer. So one more sloka Krishna will now, we are going to study. So totally, that means another 19 slokas Krishna is going to answer. So that way, Krishna is giving so much of answer in the second chapter, but at the end, in the beginning of third chapter, Arjuna is still saying to Krishna that I am again confused. Vyamisreneva vakyena buddhi mohayasivame. Tadekam vada nischitya yena sreyo aham apniyat. So now, don't talk two things to me. Just tell me only one thing. That ekam vada. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Arjuna is clearly telling him that Arjuna is telling to Krishna that I'm confused because you are confusing me, Krishna. I'm asking you to tell me what is good for me, but now you are confusing me. So that's why Vyamisreneva Vakyena Buddhim mohayasivami. So by your equivocal instructions, my intelligence is still bewildered. So buddhi mohayasime, then how can I act with intelligence? So that's why tad ekam vada nishchitya yena sreyo aham apna. You tell me only for certain, only one thing. So like that, Arjuna is asking Krishna. So again, that means Arjuna has still not understood what Krishna said clearly. So finally, when he understands the entire Bhagavad Gita, at that time, Arjuna is telling Krishna that I am no more confused, I am very clear. All my doubts are gone. All my doubts. Smritir labdha, I have regained my memory. Nashto moha, gata sandega. So that's what Arjuna is telling. So why such change happened? Even in the beginning, Arjuna is telling that I'm confused. Dharma sammoda chetasa. Karpanya doso upagata swabhava. Dharma sammoda chetasa. Vyamishtreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasivame. So that's what Arjuna is repeatedly telling Krishna. I'm confused, I'm bewildered, I don't know what is the right thing. Please tell me certain what is good, all such things. But at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is telling Krishna, Arjuna is saying that now I'm nashto moha. My confusions are gone. And gata sandeha, my doubts are cleared. So nashto moha gata sandeha. Now I am sthitosmi, I am very well situated. So now I'm going to act as per your instruction. That's what Arjuna says. So that's why this understanding Bhagavad Gita is very, very important. So when Arjuna understood the entire Bhagavad Gita, he didn't have any more confusion. So when Arjuna asked like that in the 3rd chapter, Krishna told that Lokesmin Vividanishta. See Bhagavan Vacha, Lokesmin Vividanishta Pura Prokta Mayanaga. So there are two kinds of faith, two types of faith in this world. I have explained to you everything already, Arjuna. Pura Prokta Mayana. So there is Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yogina. There is Jnana Yoga, which is also known as Sankhya Yoga, and Karma Yoga, which is Yogina, Yogis. Yogis perform Karma Yoga. So Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yogina. So, but we need to understand very clearly, because this question is again going to come again and again, even in the 5th chapter also Arjuna asks the same question, it repeats. So we need to understand very, very clearly that again these two are not different, because Jnana Yoga is the knowledge what we are gaining. Basically it is the theoretical knowledge. So that's why Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga, when we call it, when we study, understand, so that is simply a theoretical knowledge. But we need to use that knowledge. We need to apply that knowledge. So that's what is known as Karma Yoga. So that way, one cannot say that I am a yogi, I am a Jnana Yoga, I understand, I know about the soul and all such things. But if that person is not acting, not using that knowledge, not applying that knowledge, so that means then there is no use. So there is simply a theoretical knowledge. But here we are getting the theory right now in our class. Every day when we study Bhagavad Gita, when we are making progress, we are fully understanding the theoretical knowledge, the Jnana Yoga. But what is going to happen is that with this knowledge, we are definitely going to apply in our life. There is no doubt about it. Absolutely, there is no doubt. Like Arjuna was immediately able to apply their knowledge. After getting the entire Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, after understanding the entire Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, Arjuna didn't say that, okay, I got all the knowledge, let me go and explain everyone about this Bhagavad Gita like that. Arjuna immediately, he got into action. So, immediately he started applying all the skills what he learned from Krishna, all the theoretical knowledge, immediately he put them into practice. So that's what is going to happen to all of us. So we are going to use this knowledge. We are going to use this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and we are going to apply. We are going to basically act. Basically, we will act with intelligence. Of course, we are going to gain intelligence, because when we are studying Bhagavad Gita like this every day, when we are making progress, so that means definitely Krishna's mercy is there for us. So definitely by the mercy of causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is guiding us constantly within our heart, being within our heart, and he will definitely, when we start listening to him, when we start listening to Krishna, then we will be able to get instructions from him, guidance from him, from Krishna. So then our path will be all set. Then we will be going in the right direction. We will be making good moves, doing a lot of great things, and we will make great progress. So that's what is going to happen in our life also. So that is the effect of studying Bhagavad Gita, understanding Bhagavad Gita. So that's what, because then we will not have any more confusions and no more doubts. So here in the second chapter, when Krishna told about this Sankhya Yoga, first that you are not the body, you are the soul. Now you act with intelligence. So use Buddhi Yoga. So then what is meaning by, what is the meaning of using intelligence? That's what we are studying all this time, all these days in the second chapter. So Karmajam Buddhi Yuktahi Palam Tyektva Manisinaha Janma Bandha Vinir Muktaha Padam Gachanti Anamayam. That is the sloka number 51 we studied last Saturday. So this sloka says a lot of things, all the information. This sloka, and even Karmanyeva Adhikaraste, Ma Paleshu Kadasana, Ma Karma Palaheturbu, Ma Te Sango Swakarmani. That sloka and this sloka, if you just take and understand totally 8 lines. So basically each sloka has got 4 lines. So if you understand that everything makes perfect sense. And if you just follow everything, so then we will be freed from this material body. That means we have a right to perform our duty. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. We have adhikara, we have the right. We have the right to act. We have the right to perform our duty. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. But we know that we don't have the right over the results. So we need to understand that the results just don't belong to us. In the sense, it belongs to us when we recognize Krishna is our supreme God. When we are able to connect ourselves with Krishna, then we know that those results belong to Krishna and Krishna belong to us. And that way, Krishna belongs to us. So that way, we will be able to Krishna. So that's why Karmanyeva Adhikaraste, Ma Paleshu Kadasana. So we are not we don't have any right over the results. And also, those results are not produced by us. Simply, we cannot assume, we cannot simply think that I did it and I got it, everything we get it. For example, now every day, this Bhagavad Gita class, our team is really becoming very strong and we are growing. There is no doubt about it. And now every day about 30 devotees we are studying. I'm sure the way we are progressing. And there are many, many more devotees are going to join us. And that way, we will become a very, very strong, powerful team of Krishna's devotees. There is no doubt about it. So this is a very big success actually for us. But here, this result, how we are getting these results? These results are actually, it's all happening by Krishna's mercy. It's Krishna's arrangement. Krishna is creating this opportunity for us. And we are making use of this. So here, no one can claim that I did it, you did it, it's because of us. It is because of Krishna's mercy. Krishna is giving us more and more opportunities, and we are going to really make more and more progress. So it's all because of the opportunities. It's Krishna's mercy. Simply say that it is the mercy, prasadam. That's it. One way to use for this success is simply that is known as prasadam. Prasadam means Krishna's mercy. So that's why Krishna is showering his mercy upon us. That's why we are understanding this Bhagavad Gita very well. So that's why then karmajam buddhi yuktahi. So if you act with intelligence, by giving up the attachment to the results, palam tyaktva manisinaha, by giving up the attachment to the results, if you act with intelligence, then you will be freed from the bondage to birth in this world. Janma bandha vinir muktaha, and you will attain the place, the destination where there are no more miseries. That's why padam gachanti anamayam. Anamayam means the place where there are no more miseries. So that's what is going to happen, Krishna's mercy. So then in the next sloka, what we studied earlier, in the sloka number 52, last week we studied, Krishna is saying that, then yada te moha kalilam buddhihi vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam sotavyasya sutasya cha. So when we get this knowledge, when we gain this intelligence, when we gain the intelligence by being ourselves connected with Krishna, then our intelligence has passed through this dense forest of illusion. So that's why Moha Kalilam. So at that point of time, because we are we are very much connected with Krishna, we are very well connected with Krishna. Our thoughts are filled with Krishna only, Krishna consciousness. Our mind is always focusing on Krishna only, not on anything else in this material world. So if that kind of progress, so at that point of time, nothing in this world will actually disturb us. We will not be disturbed. We will not be bothered by anything happening in this world. Whatever we have heard in the past and whatever we are going to hear in the future, so nothing is going to bother us. So that's why tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya sutasya cha. Shrotavyasya sutasya. So that kind of status is what known as samadhi. That's what we are starting today in this sloka. The next sloka, sloka number 53. So here, in the sloka number 53, then Krishna is saying that that is Suti Vipratipannate Yata Stasyati Nischala Samadau Achala Buddhihi Tada Yogam Avapsyasi. So Suti Vipratipannate. So Suti Vipratipannate. What is the meaning of this line? Suti Vipratipannate. In the previous sloka we studied it. Tada Gantasi Nirvedam Srotavyasya Sutasya. Suti means hearing. The hearing process. That's what Suti. We are able to hear Suti. So that's why Srotavyasya. Sutasya. Suta means whatever we have heard. That's what Suti. So Srotavyasya Sutasya. So Suti Vipratipannate means, that means we are not disturbed by anything which is falling in our ears. That's what is known as Suti Vipratipannate. Because we are able to connect with Krishna with our mind. So nothing is going to bother us, nothing is going to disturb us. So that's why called Yata Stasyati Nischala. Stasyati means one who is situated in that status. Nischala means without being disturbed. That's why Nischala. So Nischala. Our mind is Chanchala. This Chanchala means it is restless. That has to become Nischala. Nischala means it should come under complete rest, our mind. So that's why Yata Stasyati Nischala. So that status is known as Samadhi. So that is also known as Achala Buddhi. So Nischala, Achala, Chanchala. So Chanchala is restless, Nischala is peaceful, and Achala is also peaceful. So here Yata Stasyati Nischala, Samadho Achala Buddhi. So our intelligence is not wavering. Our intelligence is very, very steady. We already studied when Krishna explained about the Buddhi Yoga in the second chapter itself, a few weeks ago. Krishna said that there is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Yekeha Kurunandam. So for a person who is resolute in his determination, Vyavasayatmika, and his intelligence is just only one. It's focused. That's it. Ekeha Kurunandam. Single focused. Whereas Bahusakahi Anantascha Buddhayo Avyavasayana. So for a person who is too much materially attached, materially entangled, his intelligence is Bahusakahi, many branches. So here that single focused, Ekega Kurunandana, that's what Achala Buddhi. That's why Samadha Achala Buddhi Tada Yogam Avapsyasi. That is the way to become a yogi. Get the yogam. Yogam is what? Yogam, we already studied in the second chapter. Siddhi, Asiddhyo, Samo Bhutva, Samatvam, Yoga Uchchadi. So that being equal in both success and failure. So that equanimity is called yoga. So that's what here Krishna is saying, that when we are able to achieve this samadhi status, where our intelligence is no longer entangled, our mind is no longer disturbed. So we are not going to be bothered or disturbed by anything that is going to fall in our ears. So that status is known as samadhi. It's a very important statement Krishna is saying that. At that point of time, we can declare that we have achieved yoga. So that's why yogastha kuru karmani sangam tektva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchchade. So that is the achievement every one of us should get in our life, make in our life. We should get it. For that, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is going to be helpful. All of us, every individual soul in this world, we are all in this material world, and we are all controlled by the modes of nature. And we should free ourselves from the strong influence of this material modes of nature, and we should achieve this samadhi status. Then only we can get out of this material world. But now, so as far as Krishna is concerned, Krishna gave the entire knowledge, whatever he wanted to give to Arjuna by this sloka number 53, sloka number 53 in the second chapter. So that way, if Arjuna has understood everything, whatever Krishna said now, and simply started fighting, because Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight, so by using his intelligence, so then our Bhagavad Gita knowledge will just stop here. But we should be very, very thankful to Arjuna now, because Arjuna is asking very, very intelligent questions. That's why we have got this full Bhagavad Gita with 18 chapters, 700 verses. So in the next sloka, in the sloka number 54, Arjuna is asking a question. So Arjuna uvacha stita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya kesava stitaddi kim prabhaseta kim asita vrajeta kim. Stita prajnasya ka bhasha. So what is stita? Stita means very well situated. So stable, that's what stita. So prajna means intelligence. So when one's intelligence is very stable, so that's what known as samadhi. So samadhi status. So one, that means Srila Prabhupada has translated that one who is situated and fixed in Krishna consciousness. So there is the fact, because only when our mind and intelligence is fixed on Krishna, so then only our intelligence will be very strong and focused one. That's why prasade sarva dukkhanam hanir asyopajayate prasanna chetasohyasu buddhi paryava tistate. Buddhi paryava tistate. Our intelligence will be very well situated, very well established. So here Arjuna is asking in one question. Sometimes Arjuna asks in one question itself, one sloka itself, many questions. Of course, everything related. Even in the 8th chapter, first sloka also we studied like Kim Tad Brahma, Kim Madhyatma, Kim Karma, Purushottama, Adi Bhutam, Kim Proktam, Adi Devam, Kim Uchyate, Adi Yajnaka, Katham Kovatra, Degeshwin. So Madhusudana. So Arjuna has asked Kim Katham, like that. So like that here also he is asking that Kim Sita Pragnasya Ka bhasa, what bhasa means what language. So a person who is situated in this Sthita Prajna, what is his language? So it is not that Arjuna is asking the literal language like English or Hindi or Tamil, not like that. Ka bhasha means our body language, how he behaves, how he acts, basically. That's what, how he acts. Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasa samadhistasya kesavan. How does he speak? So what is his language? How does he speak? Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya kesava. Samadhistasya. Samadhi, because in the previous sloka, Krishna used the word samadhi. So that's what here Arjuna is asking, samadhistasya. So who has achieved this samadhi status. So what language he speaks and how does he speak? And sitadi kim prabhaseta kim asita vrajeta kim. Kim asita means how does he sit? Vrajeta, how does he walk? So basically Arjuna is asking in this sloka, what are the symptoms of a self-realized person? That's it. How can we understand? Because in this world, if you have to find out, if you have to look for a person who has got this knowledge and who is self-realized, what are his behaviors? Like this, many in this entire Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks such excellent questions. So, for example, even in the three modes of material nature, when Krishna is explaining about the three modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, patience, and ignorance, all such things, Arjuna asks a very nice question at the end. Kailingaihi trin gunan ethan athito bhavati prabho kimacharah katham chaitan trin gunan ativartate. So what are these symptoms? I can understand a person is freed from the three modes of material nature. What are his behaviors? Kimacharaha katham chaitan trin gunan ativartate. When a person is freed from three gunas, three modes of material nature, how he behaves? What are his behaviors? So like that here Arjuna is asking the same thing. At that time Krishna answers very clearly. But at that time Krishna answers that in the next 2-3 slokas very nicely about the three modes of nature. But here for this particular question, now in the next 18 slokas, so we are finishing, this is the 54, sloka number 54. So now up to 72, in the next 18 slokas, we are going to get so much of knowledge, so much. And if we understand all these symptoms, then if we can just find out a person to check if a person is self-realized or not, we can just apply all these symptoms to that person if that person has these symptoms or not. Simply, it's creating a checklist. You create a checklist and then we'll find out check mark if that person is fulfilling all these checklists or not. If anybody is checked for all these symptoms, then that person is a Sita Prajna, self-realized. So now Lord Sri Krishna is answering in the next sloka very nicely. In the next sloka, sloka number 55, Krishna is saying that Si Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmanyevatmana Tushtaka Stita Prajnaha Tadochyate. Prajahati Yada Kaman. One who is able to give up all desires. Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogata. O Partha, Krishna is addressing Arjuna. O Partha, Sarvan Manogatan. All those Kaman. Sarvan Kaman Manogatan. Manogatan means all those desires are simply produced from our mental concoctions. That's just desires are coming in our mind. Just we are thinking, we want to enjoy the material sense objects. So that way desires comes. Let me get that material sense object and enjoy. Let me find out this, enjoy. Let me watch this movie. Let me go here. Let me drink. Let me do this. Let me do that. All kinds of these desires. So they are all coming from our mental concoctions. Our mind, everything is coming to our mind. Like the rivers are entering into the ocean. Like that the desires are entering into our mind. So here Krishna is saying that one who is able to give up, Prajahati. Prajahati means give up all varieties of desires for sense gratification. So how that is going to be possible? That is going to be possible. Atmanyevatmano tustaka. So one who is able to be satisfied, or one who is able to experience happiness within ourself. So that's what finding out happiness from our soul, within ourselves. That's what is known as Atma Sukham, Atma Tripti. So that's what is the very important thing. Yastu Atma Ratir, Atma Ratir eva syat, Atma Triptascha manavaga, Atmanyeva cha santustaka. So all such things if we are able to achieve, that is going to be possible only if we get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. That's going to be possible only when we connect ourselves with Krishna, with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, by focusing our mind on Krishna. Otherwise, we are not going to, it is not going to be possible for us. So that's why this knowledge is very, very important. So then we will be, once we relish that happiness within ourselves, let's see, at most ultimate happiness. And we will be enjoying that happiness unlimitedly. Akshayam, Sukham, Akshayam, Asnute. Sukham, Akshayam, Asnute. Bhagyasparsesu, Asaktatma, Vindadi, Atmani Atsukam, Sa Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, Sukham, Akshayam, Asnute. One who is not attached to the external material sense enjoyment. Bhagyasparsesu, Asaktatma, Vindadi, Atmani Atsukam. One who is able to find happiness within the self. So he will be able to enjoy unlimited happiness. Sukham, Akshayam, Asnute. So that's what Krishna is teaching here, that one who is able to give up all varieties of desires for material sense gratification and find out happiness within the self, So then that person's intelligence is very well established. That means he has achieved the samadhi status. It's a sthita prajna. And then in the last question, what we are studying today, in the next sloka, in the last sloka, what we are studying today, there is the sloka number 56. So now Krishna is continuing that Dukkesu anudvigna manaha Sukeshu vigatas sprighaha vitaraga bayakrodaka stitadir muniruchyate dukkeshu anudvigna mana. So when we are distressed, one is who is not disturbed in mind when there is distress. That's what dukkeshu anudvigna mana. One who is not disturbed in mind when there is distress. And sukesu vigatas sprighaha. And simply one who is not elated when there is happiness. One who is really not jumping around when there is happiness. So that's why one who is not disturbed when there is distress or elated when there is happiness. So that's why dukkes anudvigna manakam sukesu vigata sprighaha. We already studied in the second chapter itself. Krishna said in the beginning, when we studied in the sloka number 14, Krishna said that Matra sparsastu kaunteya sitoshna sukadukkada agama apayina anityaga tam stitiksasva bharata. So the so-called non-permanent appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. That's why Matra sparsastu kaunteya sitoshna sukadukkada. So agama apayino anityaga, they come and go. They appear and disappear. One should learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So that's what here Krishna is teaching us, that one who is not disturbed when there is distress. Everyone is going to get distress. There is no doubt about it. And everyone is going to get happiness also. Sukham, dukkham. It's basically, it's a wave, like a sinusoidal wave. It comes and goes. So we will be sukham and then dukkham and then sukham and then dukkham. So it goes like that. So Krishna is teaching us that we need to be equal, not disturbed. If a person says that I'm so happy like that, then what is the meaning of that? I'm so happy. That means he was not happy before that. That's why he's experiencing happiness now. If he was happy all the time, there is no need to say that I'm so happy. And that also indicates that he is going to be distressed in the near future. So that way we need to understand that in this material world it fluctuates. Both comes and both of them come and go. So that's why here one is not disturbed in mind when there is distress or elated when there is happiness. And vitaraga bayakrodha. This line, vitaraga bayakrodha is very important. Vita means free from raga, attachment, fear and anger. Baya krodha. Raga baya krodha. If there is attachment, then baya will come, fear will come. And also anger will come. If there is no attachment, of course I am talking about attachment to the material sense objects. If you are attached to Krishna, then we will not get any fear or krodha. So here in the material world, when we are attached to material things, Vita Raga Baya Krodha. So in another sloka in the 4th chapter, Krishna says that Vita Raga Baya Krodha Manmaya Mamupashitaha Bhagavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavamagataha. So being freed from attachment, fear and anger by taking shelter unto me. Manmayama upashitaka. Bhagavo, many persons in the past, by virtue of jnana and tapasa, there is knowledge and austerities, Bhagavo jnana tapasa, purified by this knowledge and austerities, and manmayama upashitaka, Bhagavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavam agata. They have attained my nature. That's what Krishna is saying there. So that's why here, Vita Raga Baya Krodha Stitadir Muniruchyate. So he is said to be a sage of steady mind. Stitadir Munir. Munir means sage. Sage of steady mind. So that's what Krishna is giving the symptoms of a self-realized person. When we study all these slokas, we finish 2 slokas about the answers Krishna is giving. So 16 more to go. So that means it will take 3 more weeks for us to finish this 2nd chapter. But all these slokas are very, very scientific, so much of science in it, and so much of practical knowledge Krishna is teaching here. So if we get all these symptoms, if we satisfy all these things, that means we are freed from this material bondage, material world. So by Krishna's costless mercy, I know today we took a little longer time, but still it is good. We have finished 4 slokas today in the 2nd chapter. So I will stop now, and I will hand over to Siva Prabhu, so that if you have any questions, we can discuss about it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guruji. It was a wonderful class today. We have one question from Prithviraj Mukherjee Prabhu. Guruji, if you are ready, I can ask the question.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah. The question is, Hare Krishna, Guruji. In Gita, Krishna said, "We are the soul." But my question is, what is mind? What is actually driving or controlling us in our daily life's activity among bodies, desire, mind, intellectual, or our soul? Guruji, can you give a specific answer?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, asking such a very important question. Actually, if we are in the right place, studying in the 2nd chapter now, when we are able to when we finish all these slokas in the 2nd chapter, what Krishna is answering, then you will get the answers for all these questions. And of course, in the 3rd chapter also, Krishna continues and gives the relationship between mind, senses, and all those things. So in one shloka in this 3rd chapter, Krishna says that towards the end, Krishna is saying that Indriyani parani akuhu indriyebhya param manaha manasastu parabuddhi yo buddhe paratastu sara. So the senses are superior to dull matter. So senses, we have indriyas. So we have 10 indriyas, 10 senses. So 5 jnanendriyas and 5 karmendriyas. So that means jnanendriyas means knowledge acquiring senses. Karmendriyas means working senses. So the sense of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. These 5 are knowledge acquiring senses. And the hands, legs, and then voice, and then genitals and the anus. So they are karmendriyas. They are under our control. Through our nervous system, we are controlling. So we have all the motor nerves, they are going, and we are able to move our hands, legs, everything we are controlling. But still it is under our control. So that's why they are known as karmendriyas. So, but mind, that's a very important question about the mind. The mind, sometimes it is connected with senses. Sometimes we can say that the mind is also a sense, because Krishna is saying that mana sastani indriyani, means 6 senses including the mind. And in another shloka, Krishna is saying that indriyani dasa ekamcha. Dasa ekam means 11 senses including the mind. So dasa means 10 and ekam means 1, 10 plus 1, 11 senses. So there, this 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, and mind. So indriyani dasa ekam. So that is also like 10 sense, like mind is there. And indriyana manas chasmi. Krishna also says in the Vibhuti Yoga, of all the senses, I am the mind. Indriyana manas chasmi. So that way, the mind is also it's a chief sense. So the mind should control the senses. So that's why indriyani parani agu, indriyebhya param managa, manasastu para buddhi. So mind is above then above mind is the intelligence. So then the soul is above intelligence. So here the intelligence is, the difference between mind and intelligence is that mind is with us all the time. But intelligence, we can lose it. If we are attached to material sense objects, then we will not have intelligence. That means we will be fools. We will be acting ignorant without intelligence. So, but if we are connected with Krishna, if we study Bhagavad Gita, if we serve Krishna, if we worship Krishna, if we fall in love with Krishna, then we will gain intelligence. So when we gain intelligence, so we will be able to control our mind, control our senses, and we will be able to act with intelligence, so that we can free ourselves from this material world. So that way, another very nice analogy comparison is that the chariot. So Atmanam Ratinam. So Atmanam Ratinam means, this Ratinam means the passenger sitting in the chariot is the Atma, the soul. So Sariram Ratam Evacha. So the sariram, this body is the chariot itself. Sariram ratham evacha. Then buddhim, that is saradim evacha. Buddhim to with the saradim. Saradim, that is saradi is the driver. The driver of the chariot is the sarati. Then mind is the manaha pragraham evacha. The controlling driving instrument. The rope what we are driving, we are using to control the horses. So that is what is called mind. And then this hayai yukte. So indriyani hayai yukte. So indriyas, the senses are the horses. So that is a comparison to understand the difference between mind, senses, intelligence, and body, and then soul. So that way, these 5 things: body, and then senses, and then mind, intelligence, and soul. Here, mind is coming in between, in the middle. So this mind can be controlled by the senses, or the soul can control the mind through intelligence. Through intelligence, of course. If we have intelligence, we can control our mind. So that's why we need to connect with Krishna to gain the intelligence. Then we will be able to control our mind. So that's why the first thing what we need is the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. When we have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, what is going to happen? We are going to fall in love with Krishna. When we fall in love with Krishna, our mind is going to think more and more about Krishna only all the time. So that way, Krishna will be giving us the intelligence to guide our mind. So that way, we will be able to control our senses. Like the driver of the chariot can control the horses with the help of the ropes. So like that, the intelligence can control our senses through our mind. So then the passenger can travel to the destination. So we are going to where? We are traveling to Krishna as well. We have to reach our destination. So if we have everything, if we have intelligence very well established, and if we are able to control our senses with the help of mind and intelligence, then we will reach our destination, that is Krishna's well, Goloka. We'll get out of this material well itself. But if we don't have intelligence, then we will be stuck in this material well. Each horse will go in different directions. Then the chariot will crash. So then we will struggle. So that's why Krishna is saying that actually buddhinaso pranasyati. Buddhinaso means when the intelligence is lost, we are lost. We are done. So again, then the problem is we have to again get another chariot. That means another body, another birth. So another body. Then again we need to travel. And again senses are going here and there. And if we don't have intelligence, so then again we will crash. And then again you die. That crashing is that dying. We will die again. So then again we will get another chariot, another body. So that is what is happening in this material world. We will keep on getting bodies after bodies, and we are struggling. So that way, if we are in the right direction, gaining this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, definitely Krishna is giving us intelligence. That's why we are studying this Bhagavad Gita every day. So Hare Krishna, I hope you understood for your question. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guruji. We are to the end of the questions. Now I will unmute. There is one new participant, Ramachandran Pillai.
Okay.
I'm unmuting you. You can talk to Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hello, Guruji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you for joining today. Thank you. So, yes. How are you? You understood everything today?
Yes, sir. Yes. We are very happy to join this precious course of Bhagavad Gita. And I have a doubt. Yes. Actually, in our life, so many good and bad things are coming. You told that fluctuation up and down. But good people are always suffer. Why this happened? Why this happened to us only? So many questions are coming in our mind. So how we can come out from this? This is unwanted question only. Everybody have so many problems, so many things. So this problem, how we can come out from this through that Krishna's guide? Okay.
See, actually in this world, we can classify the people into only 2 categories. There is divine and demoniac people. That's it. There is nothing like good people, bad people. So if you want to put them as divine people or demoniac people, that way you consider them good or bad. So then it is divine and demoniac persons. That's why we are going to study in the 16th chapter. This entire 16th chapter itself is titled as divine and demoniac nature. So in this world, everybody is suffering only. it's not that bad people are enjoying, not like that. So we cannot say that, oh, good people are suffering, bad people are enjoying. Sometimes we say that materially people speaking, some people who are doing all kinds of bad things, they will gain so much of material wealth and power and name and all those things, and we think that they are enjoying. But their thinking itself is totally wrong, because that means that person is suffering more, is not enjoying. See, in this world, our action should actually liberate. Our actions, every action what we do, each and every action has got two types of results. So that is, either it is liberating or it is binding. So that's why Krishna is saying, Yagnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanam. So that way, if you think bad people, they are enjoying in this material world, they are gaining a lot of wealth, they are controlling everything. If you think like that, that means we are wrong actually. That means because they are going to struggle more in this material world, they are bonded more, entangled more in this material world. We need to see that people, when they are taking birth here, suffering, we need to see that everybody is getting bonded to this world more and more. So every day we should act in such a way, it should liberate us. And when it will free us, because every action has got two kinds of results, I just told. Yes. So either it is bonding or liberating. Yes. So when we are doing the activities for the satisfaction of Krishna, as an arpanam, that's why yajna, yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandha. So any other activity, anyatra, any other activities which are not done for the satisfaction of Krishna is going to bind us, lokoyam karma bandha. So that way, the two types of peoples are only divine and demoniac. So Krishna is very clearly saying in Bhagavad Gita that Kaunteya Pratijani Name Bhaktaga Pranasyati. So son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. Even in your question, actually, bad people, even if you consider, Krishna is saying that Apiche Suduracharo. Suduracharo means very, very bad persons. Those who commit abominable activities, most abominable activities. Apiche Suduracharo, but still if that person is worshipping me with faith, Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhav, so always worshipping me without any deviation. If that person has got faith on Krishna, Sadhurevasa Mantavyak, one should consider him to be a saint only. Even if a person commits most abominable activities, Sadhurevasya Mantavyak, Samyak Vyavasuto Hisaga, because he has got the determination to think about me, determination to worship me. Because when a person is a devotee of Krishna, what is going to happen? Chipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Very quickly he will become a righteous person. Dharmatma. Sasvachantim Nigachati. He will attain everlasting peace. Sasvachantim Nigachati. So that's why Krishna is saying that Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhaktaga Pranasyati. Me Bhaktaga na Pranasyati. My devotee will never perish. So that way we should reframe your question like that. Divine and demoniac natures in this world. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna, so Devi Sampat Vimokshaya Nibandaya Asuri Mataha. So this Devi Sampat, this divine nature will Vimokshaya, will lead to liberation. Whereas there is Devi Sampat Vimokshaya Nibandaya Asuri Mataha. This demoniac association will Nibanda. Nibanda means will bind, will lead to bondage. So Masuchaha Sampadam Devim Abhijatasya Bharata. Oh Arjuna, you don't fear, you don't worry, Masuchaha, because you are a divine person. So Sampadam Devim. So that way, if anyone is a divine person, that means like only two kinds of, there is Dvaubhuta Sargau Lokesmin Deva Asura Yevacha. So in this world, two kinds of people, Dvaubhuta Sargau, two kinds of people, there is Deva and Asura. There is divine or demoniac. So if you look at that way, being a devotee of Krishna, we should not be even thinking or worrying about we are going to suffer. Because this material world itself is a place for miseries. It is Dukkalem, Asasvatam, Anityam, Asukam, Lokam. So here, everybody is going to suffer only. Nobody can enjoy in this world. Yeah. You understand what, Madaji?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. From which place, from where you are joining, Hare Krishna? So,
Mumbai.
Yeah.
From Mumbai, sir.
Oh, from Mumbai. Hare Krishna. Very nice. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, please join every day. But today we studied the second.
So, what is the nourishment for the soul? How do we, I mean, we eat food for our body, and, for intelligence, we have, you have all those learning avenues. So, what is the food for the soul?
Thank you for asking this question. I have explained this earlier, but this is a very good thing because you are asking this as a question. Very, very important question, actually. So, I know for the body, we need food to eat, and we are eating 3 times a day. Because that food, what we eat for the body, it gives us the energy, basically. So, for us to act. Otherwise, if we don't eat food at all, then we will become very weak. We cannot do anything. So, similarly, what is the food for the soul? And what is the nature of the soul? Because many times Krishna, we also say that I'm like Krishna, like that. So qualitatively, we are also like Krishna. So even in the Brahma Samhita, that Brahma, in the very first sloka, is praising Krishna that Isvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Anadi Radhi Govinda Sarva Karana Karma. So Satchidananda. So the nature of soul is Satchidananda. So that means eternal. The soul is always there. The soul can never die. There is no birth, no death for the soul. The soul is all the time there. So na hanyate hanyamani sarire. When this sarira body is destroyed, the soul is not destroyed. Nothing happens to the soul. Na hanyate hanyamani sarire. But the soul is satchit. Satchit means it's full of knowledge. Chit. So satchit. Chit means full of knowledge. So Ananda. Ananda means full of bliss. So what is the natural constitutional position of the soul? It is to be happy. So Ananda. Ananda means it is to be happy. So, but the food for the soul is the knowledge. This knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that way, that's why we cannot say that I finished with Bhagavad Gita, I have studied, there is no more, there is no need for me to study anything more like that. We cannot say. It is like saying that I'm done with eating. When we finish our lunch or breakfast, we cannot simply say that, okay, I'm done with eating, then no more eating. We cannot say like that. So like that, this knowledge is this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. That is the main thing. This Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, that is the food for the soul. Because that's why we are all, see, now our strength is growing and we are all connected and we are all staying for very long time and studying and understanding Bhagavad Gita, because it gives us so much happiness. It gives us so much happiness. So that's why Ananda. Ananda means the bliss. So when we realize that we are eternal and we get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then we are able to achieve that Ananda, the bliss, the happiness. So the food for the soul is simply this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. So that's why we should be always connected with this Bhagavad Gita, study and understand. So that way we are able to, that's why we should be studying this Bhagavad Gita we should study. That's why Krishna is saying that it is susukam karthum. Susukam karthum means it can be very joyfully performed. It's very, very joyfully performed. When we study Bhagavad Gita, when we are connected with Krishna, we are forgetting all our material miseries. That's what we need. Our mind wants to be happy, means it should not be disturbed. So that we can get only through Bhagavad Gita. So you understand, Mataji, Hare Krishna, for your question.
Thank you, Guruji. That was a great answer.
Hare Krishna.
I get it, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna. It's nice talking with you today. Hare Krishna. And yeah, there is
Anubhav Mohapatra is looking to talk to you, Guruji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Anubhav, you can talk to Guruji.
Hello, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes.
So I want to ask you, like, when mind is totally confused, like in some point of time in our real life, we have so many situations or so many paths to choose. When there is a confusion in the mind, how Bhagavad Gita is going to help us to choose which path is okay for us. So, like, I want to know exactly what to do at that time, at that point of time.
Yes. So what you are asking is that there are so many things to decide, but we are very confused which one to take. So how we can decide based on Bhagavad Gita? That's what you are asking, correct, Mataji?
Right.
So yeah, when we get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because we are all connecting ourselves with Krishna. Every day when we study Bhagavad Gita, the more and more, all the time we are talking about Krishna. If you really notice, during my class, my lecture also, or even during the question answer also, how many times we call the name of Krishna. So for us, Krishna, every time, that's what we will find if you read Srila Prabhupada's books also. So Bhagavad Gita as it is. So if you read, so everywhere, so Krishna, 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 all the time Krishna will be there. So that way, Krishna, should not forget Krishna even a single moment. In the paper we study that Tasmat Sarvesu Kalesu Mam Anusmaram. All the time you remember me. That's what Krishna is saying there. So when our thoughts are always filled with Krishna, all the time focus, if you remember Krishna, so then your priorities will be set in such a way that when there are so many things you are struggling to decide, we will decide the one which satisfies Krishna more. That is the main thing, because our goal is only to please Krishna, nothing else. We cannot ourselves go away from Krishna and be happy. So as soon as we forget Krishna, we are going to be disturbed. We will be coming under the control of Maya and we will struggle, we will be disturbed. That's what is going to happen. So that way, when you are remembering Krishna all the time, so when your mind is bombarded with so many different kinds of priorities, what to do and all, so at that time we put Krishna in front. And then what Krishna wants us to do, that is the main thing. So if we are very much clear in that way, so then we can do everything for Krishna's satisfaction. So then no more confusion, because Krishna is there in our heart. He will guide us. Because we are walking along with Krishna. He is taking us. He is guiding us. We are not alone. That's the point we need to understand. In this effort of studying Bhagavad Gita and realizing ourselves and getting out of this material bondage and going to Krishna. Krishna is constantly with us actually. He is not there in his place, Goloka, and waiting for us to go there and meet him. Krishna is there with us in our heart as the super soul. So that way we should be able to listen to Krishna all the time. So that way we need to understand what Krishna wants from us. So everything we will get from the Bhagavad Gita knowledge fully. So then when we were able to prioritize everything based on like Krishna's satisfaction, so then this confusion will slowly go away, Mataji. Then we will be very clear. So, yeah, you understand, Mataji? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Guruji. Yeah, I understood actually. So, like, the thing is like when there is a confusion between two paths.
Yes.
So, like this path or that path. So, like, how to at that time, what we need to think? Like, we are putting Krishna in mind and thinking that which path is.
Yeah, when you have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita fully, if you are able to consult with this Bhagavad Gita, refer to this Bhagavad Gita. So that's why in one sloka, Krishna is saying that in the 16th chapter towards the end, Tasmat Sastram Pramanam Te Karya Akarya Vyavastitau Nyatva Sastra Vidanuktam Karma Kartum Ihagasi. So, Sastra Vidanuktam. Tasmat Sastram Pramanam Te. Everything should be based on the Sastra. This Bhagavad Gita is the Sastra. Iti guhyatamam sastram idam uktam mayanaha etat buddha buddhiman syat krita kritasya cha bharatha. So this is the topmost secret, this Sastra, guhya uttamam sastram, this Sastram. So this injunctions, scriptural injunctions. So this Sastra, if we understand fully, so tasmat sastram pramanante karya akarya vyavastita. When you are performing or not performing, when you are doing or not doing, you consult with Bhagavad Gita. We should refer to Bhagavad Gita. And you specifically ask if there are two paths, what to decide. So that is a question Arjuna is also asking Krishna. You are telling me two things. Now I am confused. You tell me what is the right thing to do. That's what Arjuna is asking Krishna. Vyamishtheneva vakyena buddhi mohaya sivame, equivocal instruction. So now you tell me ekam vadam nishchitya. Only tell me one thing. What should I do? So that means if we study Bhagavad Gita, we understand very well. and we can consume. And also Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, sometimes if you are really very confused, then Krishna is also saying that Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattva darshina. So you approach a bona fide spiritual master Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya and perform devotional render service unto him, pariprashnena sevaya, and they will be able to explain to you, give this knowledge, upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattva darshina, because they will see the truth. So what we are getting right now is exactly that's the thing. We are getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We are going through, because I'm sure this is Krishna's mercy. We are getting this knowledge as it is, fully, completely. For a period of time, once you get this knowledge, you yourself will become a jnani. You understand. You yourself will be able to guide others. Like what is the right thing to do, what is the wrong thing to do, all those things. Because everything. Sarvam karma akilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Everything culminates at the knowledge. All kinds of yajnas. Out of all yajnas and everything, jnana yajna. Jnana yajna is the ultimate yajna. That's what we are doing every day. In our Bhagavad Gita class, what we are doing is it's an yajna. And what type of yajna? It is jnana yajna. So sarvam karma akilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Everything culminates with the knowledge. So that way, with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, slowly you will be able to get to that kind of situation. You will be able to decide which is the best in that for Krishna. That is the main thing. And another point is that whatever you do, you have to do it for Krishna only. So that way, out of those two things, if you are able to really figure it out, which one is more pleasing to Krishna, then you do that one. And if you think that both are same only, then because anyhow you are doing it for Krishna, that's what is the very important thing. So when you are doing it for Krishna, then you can do it. Any one of that. So only important thing is that we should see this confusion comes only if we are attached to the results. Then only we are confused. If you are not attached to the results, we are doing it only for Krishna, then we will not be bewildered. Our mind will not be bombarded with this kind of confusion. Do you get that point, Mataji?
Yes, sir. The last two lines, now I am completely understood what you are saying. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I'm very happy. Krishna's mercy will understand everything. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hello, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, we are gaining many samskar in our daily life, good or bad. Many samskar gaining in our daily life, good or bad. But what will it go with us after death?
What's your question? Will it go after death? Can you repeat your question again?
We are gaining many samskar in our daily life.
Yes.
Good or bad. Will it go after with us after death? क्या मेरा साथ जाएगा?
Okay, after death also will it come to us? That's what you are asking.
Because Krishna says that our soul is pure. So क्या soul को effect आएगा?
Yes, so our soul is pure always. There is no doubt that soul is Atma, soul is pure. But the problem is that in this material world, we are bound. There is a problem. We are bound means we are bonded. And many times in the past we studied, I explained based on Bhagavad Gita, this bondage is known as Karma Bandha and Janma Bandha. So Karma Bandha means bondage to work. Janma Bandha means bondage to birth. So after death, so depending upon how much we are entangled in this material world, how much bondage we have in this material world, accordingly, our next birth is going to depend upon our mindset at the time of death. So whatever we remember at the time of death, you are going to get it. So that way, if we try to forget everything in this material world when we are living now, so that's why we should detach. We should not be remembering anything in this material world. There is no point in remembering anything in this material world. We should try to forget everything, because we should remember only Krishna. Because otherwise, if you remember anything else in this material world, then we will get that at the time of death. So that's why we should remember only Krishna all the time. So otherwise, if we are focusing our every time on the material sense objects, then we will be remembering that, then we are going to get it. So that way, the study of Bhagavad Gita is going to help us to clean our mind from all kinds of misconceptions, all kinds of contaminations, everything. So that way we will be able to free ourselves from the bondage. So if we are able to free ourselves from the bondage, then at the time of death we will be relieved, will be freed. So otherwise, for your question, it's going to come with us in our next life also. If next life, because it is our next body itself is going to fully depend on all our samskara, all whatever we are doing in this life, everything. That's what is going to decide our next body itself at the time of death. So we should be able to forget this material world completely at the time of death. We should be able to remember only Krishna at the time of death. So that's why we should use this life to practice our mind, focusing on Krishna, not thinking about anything. So this is very, very important. So then Krishna's mercy, we are going to go. And that way, whatever progress we make, as I mentioned yesterday, whatever progress we make is going to stay with us. We are not going to lose it. And we will continue to make progress in our next life from where we stop. So that way, being a devotee of Krishna, for all of us, since we are studying Bhagavad Gita every day, for all of us, being a devotee of Krishna, we are in the right direction and we are making good progress, especially by studying and attending this Bhagavad Gita. At the time of death, whatever progress we make, it will stay with us. Then we'll go and take the next birth, and then we'll continue from where we left. So that's what is going to happen. But for others who are not devotees of Krishna, who are not following, so they will accumulate more bondage to this earth, more bondage. So then next life, they will get even a life which is worse than this life and get even more bonded. So that's why we should be very careful in our daily day-to-day activities. So that's why we should get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and do all the activities in such a way it should free us from this material way. You understand that, Paul?
Yes, Guruji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
If anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask Guruji. Palpandi, Prabhu, do you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.